Welcome back. It's time for the news schmooze.
So you called me last night, Karm. You say you're not into this guest. You thought we were stooping low. I call you out on the show. But what's very fascinating is every person, I once, 20 years before there's reality TV, you can ask, listen to this, you can ask Mike Wexler and John Hume. I had an idea for a reality show. It was called Ordinary People, 6 Billion Extraordinary Stories. Every person has an amazing story. Did you think that that was a waste of time, this interview we just did?
You misquoted me. You are dishonorable when it comes to this. Last week,
Karm,
we had the sperm.
We just interviewed the son of a sociopath, a psychopath, and sometimes you do border that, and you do. You told me you were not into this.
No, I tell you what I told you verbatim.
Okay,
tell you what I told you.
And speak into the mic.
I told you that we had the Sperminator.
What's
which a guy who impregnated
the spermulator is like a percolator.
116 women. 17. By now, probably 18. So we had that. Before that, we had this guy who was a jewelry thief and alleges that he slept with Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell. Today, we had a guy, a true crime guy. We had the Tiger King, the woman from the Tiger King.
What do you want, the Dalai Lama?
In the beginning, we had Dara Horn.
In the beginning, we had my uncle because that's all we could get.
But he was a world expert on COVID when COVID just started, and it's worth re-listening. We had a brilliant psychiatrist about our sick relationship.
I'll read book David Camp, and you can go over vocabulary words.
David Camp is a genius. We had
Adam Hanft, another genius.
We had a little bit higher brow things, and I think we have to. While life is very rough for all of the above, and our theme is that we are all traveling through this thing called life, and it's a very rough journey, but
getting rougher.
Very, very, very enjoyable, and I love it. I wouldn't trade it in for some alternative.
I would. For money, I would trade it in. Okay, Karm, let's get on with the news schmooze here. This is a story that truly lifts my spirits, puts a smile on my face, makes me feel warm inside. Investment and projections for CNN Plus are expected to be cut dramatically in response to a low adoption rate, two sources tell Axios News. By the numbers, the news giant...
You are pathetic.
By the numbers, the news...
Anybody who rejoices at other people's misery is a miserable person.
The news giant was initially planning to invest around $1 billion in the service over the next 4 years. Now, hundreds of millions of dollars are expected to be cut from that original investment total. To date, around $300 million has been spent on the subscription service, which includes a sizable marketing investment. The new company's leadership team still has to decide the ultimate fate of CNN Plus. CNN's new boss, Chris Lick, starts May 1st. How many people do you think are watching CNN Plus? First of all, how many people live in America?
330 million.
More than that.
No.
It's closer to 400 million.
No.
How many people?
Maybe.
How many people in a day do you think are watching CNN Plus?
10,000.
10,000 is the right number?
I saw it somewhere, the number, full disclosure.
Have you ever heard of Quibi? Have you ever heard of Quibi? No, yeah, you did, but it doesn't exist anymore. That was another Jeffrey Katzenberg and the woman. You start eBay, you think you can do anything else. Well, I got news for you. You can't. No one's watching CNN regular, as they say in Miami, but now they're going to do CNN Plus, and you're going to pay to watch Don Lemon interview authors.
I wonder how is the Fox's special.
This is what that's doing much better. Much better. And what's so...
You know why?
Let me tell you what's so fascinating about this to me. I'll tell you why. Susan Berlin, don't yell at me. Joe Rogan and his producer, Jesse, are two people. They are the #1 podcast in 93 countries. Two people. CNN Plus probably put 1,000 people on this. They brought in celebrities, producers, marketing companies. And all it takes is one person like me to say, this is going to be a failure. I would have saved them $300, $400, $500 million. This is going to be a failure. No one is going to pay money for this. And what is it? It's an absolute failure. And that's why it brings me joy. Let them suffer. On to the next story. We had the man on who slept.
That's pretty sick.
We
to
had
say let them suffer.
Let
what
them
did
suffer.
they do to you?
They didn't hire me. And for that,
Okay.
I hope they suffer.
Okay.
That one reason. We have 6 minutes, Karm, no pressure. We had the man who slept with this woman. The 10-year-old Ghislaine Maxwell told house guests her father beat her with objects of her choosing. And Jeffrey Epstein referred to Prince Andrew as his useful idiot. This is according to a new explosive upcoming book about the British royal family. As we know, what's his name? Prince Andrew has been caught up in this whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal. It's written by Tina Brown, who I believe worked
I
for...
know.
Yeah,
She was the editor of
the
New Yorker.
Yes, she has a book.
She was good.
The book is called The
At
Power...
that time, this stupid idiot who is running the New Yorker now, he made it so woke that it's
Dave Remnick?
unreadable.
David Remnick?
Yes.
See, I know you call me a moron, but I know who is the editor-in-chief of the New Yorker. It should be David Camp.
I know because I bumped into him once in the airport.
The Palace Papers, Inside the House of Windsor, The Truth and the Turmoil. That is the name of the book. It talks about how Epstein, a New York financier, used his relationship with the prince to open doors in international circles to further enrich himself. But it also talks about Ghislaine Maxwell and her unorthodox upbringing as a privileged daughter of media mogul and fraudster Robert Maxwell, who helped turn her into a convicted sex predator. You buy all this? You buy all this?
One more salacious thing. I am quitting officially, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't
Daddy
want...
used to beat her with a brush.
I have had it with this podcast.
Look, you have a horrible father, and this can happen. He used to beat her with a brush. On to the next story. This one's very sad, actually, but sort of joyous at the same time. I've taken my kids here. One of the dolphins at the Miami Seaquarium named Sundance suddenly went rogue, breaking from his performance and getting violent with a trainer. They shot video on TikTok of this. The audience breathed a sigh of relief when the trainer was finally able to swim to the dock. But basically, there's been a long-standing issue with the Seaquarium here in Miami. We've done stories on it, many stories with CBS4. These animals, which should not be held in captivity, these are dolphins that are basically held in big swimming pools. And this one dolphin finally said, fuck this, I'm sick of this. Sundance took the trainer in front of young kids, which would have been difficult if V and Z and Judah were there, and dragged her under the water. He could have killed her. He obviously didn't want to. After a while, he let her back up, and she survived. But Karm, do we need to put an end to the Seaquarium? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'll agree 100%. We'll be right back with 3 questions for Karm.
You know what? They should have a zoo where the people are in cages and the animals
100%.
come to watch them.
It's a good premise for a movie, actually.